Good evening, everybody. And 39 weeks. We have one more week to go to make it 40 weeks. And the next week, we hope that we'll be able to compile it really beautifully. Today, I don't have another speaker with me. It's what I'm going to start with. Of course, we'll do our little pan story, but I also have to tell you a really interesting story after that. All right. So, yeah, I can see some of our very regular followers here, and the rest we hope will join us soon. So, Pan and his mom are out to make a routine now. So, they're out there, they have a big clock smiling at them, and mom has something to say to Pan. So, she says, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up now. Get out of the bed somehow. Brush your teeth and slippers must go on your feet. Wash your face and drink your milk and take a bath really soon. I don't want to see you in your pajamas till noon. No, you have a Zoom class and you cannot sit there sipping your milk in a glass. Change your trousers to a formal top and shirt and the top at pajamas, and a good top and pajamas at the bottom must stop. This is also something that must stop for everybody. Pan, you cannot keep running to the TV cartoon and the laptop game. There have to be words to learn, and you have to go down and play with your friends. You have things to name, and you have many a game. So, getting a routine is so important. It is such an important, because there's so many things children have to do in a day. There's so many things that the parents have to help the children do. So if the routines are not in place, how is that going to ever work? So today it was interesting, today before when I was sitting for the session, Sejal, who helps us out, came to check my connections and everything. And I was sitting on the other side of the room because I didn't use a backdrop today. And I told her, I said, Sejal, is it okay if I just sit with this curtain? And she said, it's okay, but I think it's nicer if there's color behind you because I'm used to it. It was a routine to set up a backdrop for 39 weeks, so everybody got used to it. So routines are things what you get used to. Routines are things that you're comfortable to do. And routines are things that perhaps whoever is around you also responds to. So it's a routine. Does this happen every day? Does this happen regularly? I think that's what a basic routine is all about. A comfort level of you, a comfort level of everybody around you. So we have like regular help at home, and it was very interesting because a few weeks back she walks up to me and said, I feel really relaxed when I work with you. So I said that, there is so much that you do for us. How is it? She says that because you have a routine. I know at what time I have to do what. And I think that is exactly the significance of what we have to do for children. They have to know at what time they have to do what. If they don't know all of that, if they don't know what to anticipate, they don't know what to expect, they wouldn't know, and then they don't feel confident. So, and then we called it with little citizens for a reason. We could have said little learners. So I'll give you the reason after the time that we spend this whole routine capsule together. Now, in the next few weeks, months, we don't see all the children coming straight to school, not the little ones. It's going to take a little more time to do that, to get them all back to school, to all of us. So what is going to happen when they suddenly have to come back? And they have to come back into a rhythm, a grid. And especially when they come back, the systems are going to be a little different. There is going to be a change in processes in schools. Even the way the children are picked up, dropped, who's going to take them, bring them back, the patterns, everything is going to need a lot of intense discipline. Now, to prepare them for that to come, what is the best thing to do at home is what we have to talk about. And I have been listening to a lot of parents talking, and everybody says, oh, the children don't have a routine. Well, I wish that they had made a routine for the children. There has to be a pattern. If there is no pattern, there cannot be a routine. Obviously, children are not going to respond to it if you are not going to set it for them. Now let's imagine a school situation. Okay, your children go to school from say 9 o'clock to 12:31. I'm going to quickly tell you, teachers would know if there are any parents watching. Just imagine the list of things that the teachers do. So they have a list of things to do. They have learning domains which they cover up in their routine. So when they set a routine timetable for a day, that this is what we are going to do, I'm just going to just cover what all the teacher keeps in mind when she is setting a daily routine for a child. So, how important does it become to set that routine at home, to cover all the learning, processes, how to cover every bit of what the child needs to learn. The problem is not going to be that the child is not in school alone. The learning gaps are going to come because the various domains have not been put into a rhythm and a routine. I think that's where it's going to become a little challenging when the children come back. So the teachers start in the morning with the circle time. And it's so interesting that we tell the teachers, you have to be patient, you have to listen to the children. And imagine she has 35, 40 children in the class. But as parents, early in the morning, the number of instructions we give the kids because we have things to catch up with. So setting up pattern is very important even for your own self, right? So they do a circle time as soon as they come because children have a lot to express. They do really interesting, together times, assemblies, patterns. They do an art, they do activity, they do free play, they do guided play. Free play would be children just going out and play, and guided play is when the teachers are playing with the children or there is a certain activity they have planned for them. Then you have the dramatics, you have the learning domains, you have the social emotional domain, where you look for interaction, you look for small group working, pair working, large group working, putting the children in different settings. All this is a part of the school routine. All right. Language development, that is again further divided into some amount of time for listening, speaking, and of course time for reading and writing. Then the large motor development, how is the child's large motor going to develop? Perceptual skills, the movement, the small motor movement. Health and safety is another big domain that we will really need to take care of. Creative domain, knowledge and understanding of the world, numeracy, logical thinking, not to forget the chatter and stories and the drawing and the fun. Just imagine this is up to be set into the child's pattern for the day. It's not going to be easy. The next 5 months, see, the last 8, 10 months have also been a journey. Everybody has fallen into a routine and pattern. Do you realize that? Initially, everything was so difficult to do. How will we do this? How will we do that? How will we do that? And slowly, we have all started coming into a rhythm and pattern. And I think that is going to be what is going. And now what is happening is because everything is opening up. So people are going out more often. There is a little more, a movement outwards. So it is going to be a little challenging. So perhaps it's a good time for, if there are teachers watching, to send a kind of a pattern of working home, saying that this is the rhythm you could follow in a day. These are the basic timings. That is why I kept a clock out there. And maybe if they could just talk to children where they say that, we are going to give you patterns. What time would you wake up? So involve the child in decision making. Ask the child that, um, what time would you like to wake up? Would you want it to be 7:30 or 8 o'clock? So keep the child engaged. And when it is 8 o'clock, show the mark of the clock at 8 o'clock and put up a wake up picture there. So the child knows that 8 o'clock I have to wake up. It's not necessary that the child is going to wake up at 8 o'clock every day, but keep setting that routine. It's very important because it makes the child feel like they are involved in the decision making. It's also very interesting that suddenly when you take children to an unknown place or you don't tell them what's going to come, sometimes they're not comfortable. In fact, sometimes even adults are not comfortable. So if there is a pattern, if the child knows, and the most important is once you set the pattern for the child, Don't change it at your convenience. That's not fair. See, in schools, we don't do that. When the children come to us and it is time to take them out, the teacher just drops everything and takes them out. That's it. It's time to take them out. When there is time to sit down and draw, then we all sit down and draw. When there is a circle time, we all sit down and do a circle time. And it's not like we are not flexible. Sometimes the drawing may be taken to the circle time. Sometimes the circle time may just go to the end of the day. If you feel that maybe today there's something important the children may want to talk to you about. So we keep that flexibility, but the child becomes your pivot for everything. Now, in homes, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be happening as much as it should be, right? So it could be everything. Waking up in the morning, what is the time to bathe? Is the pillow being put back properly? Are they folding, making even a small attempt to fold their sheets? If they are not, at least they can put the pillow back, making their bed, putting the slippers on, brushing their teeth. So all this can't be done just any time of the day. So I think if these patterns, these thoughts, these processes are actually in place, it works very nicely. Also, the other thing which perhaps parents can do is make their home schedules, and then plan a pattern for the child. I think if we can do that, it would work really, really well for the children. That you set your pattern first so that you know that I'm going to be available to the child at this time. So then it's a consistent suggestion of a routine. Now, I can't tell the child, you make a routine and say, Jao tum kar lo, or you do it. It's not going to work like that. So I would suggest maybe a pattern for the adults and then a pattern which you can fit in the children during these times. You have February coming, March, April, May, June. What everybody is telling us, it will take till about July for the little ones to come back. We hope the children can come back in April. I think that's what all of us are hoping for. But, April is just 2 months, 60 days away. Miracles do happen, but still, this time, if we can set into a pattern, it would be wonderful, wonderful for the children, right? So if you can do all of that, it would be nice. Another thing very, very important is why a routine? Because everybody would know that there is a time to, I'm sorry, there's just been somebody in. So everybody would know that there is a time. Everybody would know that there is, space, and then there would be bonding in the family. So I think that is what is important. Basic bonding. Everybody is to come to the table. Everybody is going to be doing this together. So bonding will happen. Expectations. Mama expects me to do this. The other day I was sitting in somebody's home, and this little child, she was about 8 years old, walked up and said, it's now time for me to take out my books. So I looked at the mother and I said, wow, like last week there was this big tantrum. So she said, yeah, now we've set a routine. So it was very interesting. This family bought this big clock in the house. And that is how this whole thing triggered. And she says that every time the clock strikes a particular hour, we, ask the children to do one of the important activities. And I thought that was a beautiful thing to do. So everybody get a nice big clock, which they can all look into and, take it from there. A calmer household. When you have a routine, when you have a pattern, the household is calmer. It's very interesting that even if you have a pet at home, this is called the Pavlov's law of stimulus and response. The minute you shift the plate of the pet, the minute you ring a particular bell, the pet will come and there would be saliva because he's expecting to be given food. So imagine stimulus has to be consistent and responses will come. The problem is we don't give the children consistent stimulus. I think that is a very, very important part of little children. I think even for us, like I know that I have to see you all on a a Sunday evening. So I have my pattern and routine. I know at 3 I do this, at 4 I do this. And like I say, just said at 4:30 my backdrop better go up. So a simple routine and pattern. Also very good for health of the children. So in the last few months, there's been a lot of digital media, a lot of television, a lot of a lot of binge watching through the nights. It's very important for parents to understand that children keep listening even when they sleep. They are sensitive to sounds, they're sensitive to what's happening around them. And many times when children are waking up in the morning, they're waking up very, very tired and cranky. And parents are unable to understand why this is happening. But think back, maybe that whole night, half the night, there was a television on. There was something. So sleep patterns are so important. We have stopped paying that much of attention to them. If we sleep late, the children sleep late. If we wake up late, the children wake up late. That's not how little children will have correct responses. So, health patterns, sleep patterns. I was talking to psychologists and they say that if why only children, even adult sleep patterns are so important. Sometimes we talk about obesity in children. So much of it is because they don't have a good sleep pattern. So the basic, movements of the body are not happening. The bowels are not getting cleaned out. The basic patterns are not happening. So sleep patterns are important. So sleep routine important, eating routine important, and maybe it helps you to remember important things. For example, in the day, my child we have to do a little reading time for a child. My child has to go out. My child has to do a little cleaning. I told you the number of things teachers do in schools, right? So if I have to cover that many domains, even if I don't cover every domain every day, because we don't do that in school either, but if I have to cover a certain number of domains through the week, then I, as a mother or a father, have to have a pattern which will respond to, right? So it will give you time to create a reminder time for you that Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday has to be drawing, or maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday has to be maybe just free play outside, or maybe it's going to be guided play which parents are going to call the other children and participate. Maybe it could be a guided reading time. So everybody who's also being a part of it, everybody who's also coming on board understands that this is how patterns have to be followed. I think that's what makes it very, very exciting, very, very happy for everybody. And I also feel that as parents, this time, this is also the year end time, when the academic year is sort of finishing. Now, this is also the time for consolidation. So my words have to be consolidated, concepts have to be consolidated. If the teacher has done like 10 stories in a year, they have to be consolidated. Singing, the expression, the drawing, the social emotional development, the motor skills, the imagination. This is the time, even in schools, when children were coming to us, the routine, what we followed as a pattern became very, very important, especially during the post, winter vacation. We used to say, we used to plan to dot 15 days of January, some amount of time of February and March. I remember the amount of energy that used to go into the routine of the day. Should the child be sleeping in the afternoon? If the child is sleeping in the afternoon, what time does the child wake up in the evening? When will the child go out to play? So everything will have to be taken care of. And then, what you can also do is perhaps set up a little note, walls. You can put up notes on doors. You can put up notes on where, the children could they may not be able to read, but they'll definitely be able to say that, oh, mom's put this note up for me. I know so many of us are working. I keep really, really crazy schedules. But at the same time, I was thinking if I had a little child at home, what would I have done? A child who's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7, 8 years old, What would a working mother who sits on a laptop from, 8, 9 in the morning to maybe 6 in the evening do? So that makes it even more reason to create a pattern. So you know that during this time, these 5 minutes, I need to do this. Because that's the only time even the mother has, or even the father at home, whoever's taking care of the child. So just imagine if there's no routine, and we're all going through that. So that little pattern, that little setting is very, very, very important. Why did I talk about it as citizenship? I will talk just after I finish a few more points. Because I am looking at whether a lot of times the homemakers, the moms who are not working outside, tell me that how does it, are we not working? The difference is very, very, it's logical. You are a master of your own time. A person who's working for an outside environment is not the master of their own time, and so many times there are time compulsions. Let's not even pretend that they are not there. Let's not even pretend that they're not there, because I know what deadlines are. I know what meetings are. I know how you can't switch off and the saddest part is that I think so many organizations are not understanding that when you're in office, the children don't respond or worry about you. But when you're at home sitting in front of them, that little 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 year old will come to the mother. So I really hope that this period of sensitive learning for everybody becomes a very strong learning point for even people who are employing people. You know that you have to give them a meal time. I don't see a mother getting a meal time if she's working. There's back-to-back calls. Why is that happening? And this is something which I want to question in an open forum. Why are people back there not sensitive to the fact that this is a mother sitting at home and working and giving you completed work at the end of the day? She needs those breaks. So I think it's about sensitizing workspaces as well. When I'm creating a routine for a child, I also need to have somebody who's going to respect my routine, right? So I do understand that if you are working parents, I do understand all of this, and I do hope that this kind of messaging travels out, that please be kinder to people with little children, because it's a phase of their life. It's not going to last all their life. If this time, we can make children go into a routine, life would be so much simpler for all of us. So keep it simple. We need to ask ourselves, what can we do every day, what we cannot do every day. Help family members to break down their schedules. Everybody to break down their schedules. Say this can be done, this cannot be done, and time it, mark it. It works very well. Encourage families to get their children to help. It's surprising, to create a rhythm for a child, how much the child can help you. You have to start taking help from little children and making them feel responsible. I have worked in the early years domain for this is my 31st year. I used to always have a very, very disciplined, fun classroom. We used to be enjoying, we used to be rolling on the floor, there used to be running, there used to be fun, but at the same time, there used to be an intensive processing, and the processing was self-discipline. It was not me yelling at the children. It was not me telling them. And we have worked in every kind of an environment. I have worked in environments where the income groups were different, where, today we are calling it inclusive learning, or we are talking about learning of different categories of children. Loads of schools have been working like this for years now, So we have followed all of this. So patterns, getting them into a rhythm of self-discipline. If earlier you do it, the better our country is going to be. Rather than worrying about how many things the child knows, I would concentrate on how many things the child can do with self-discipline and control. If that is done, we are going to take this country to another level, because this is that little citizen who's going to grow into the society tomorrow. That is why when, the Square Panda team asked me that little citizen, why, ma'am, why not little learners? I said no, because this routine, this pattern, this rhythm, this self-discipline is going to make my country a better place in the long run. Because these children will be used to certain responses, certain way of respecting time. Very important, they will learn how to respect the space of the other person in the house. They will learn how to respect the fact that this person is busy and I need to wait. They will learn patience. They will learn to just work together in groups. And we are seeing what is happening through the country, right? All of us are very, very aware of the kind of things we are seeing around us. And I was just thinking that at this point of time, what is it that we are looking for? What is it that we're looking for in little children? Why did I say set a routine for children? Why did we have a whole evening to talk about this? Because if we don't do it, and another very important thing is, if you don't have a pattern and there is change, I don't even know what to adapt to, right? Because I anyway don't have a rhythm and pattern. So if there is something very major happening, my ability to adapt to that also becomes a little shaky. So when we are talking about critical thinking, we are talking about collaboration, I would say any century skills. Why would it be 21st century skills? I think this is any century skills, right? That unless the children have a certain thing, how does this child know this whole thing has changed? If there is no rhythm, if I only have a rhythm, then I will notice change better. There will be more mindfulness to change. There will be more response to change. Maybe the child may come and ask the parent, what should I do? This is change. But if the child is just mindfully going through it, mindlessly going through it in the day, where is the ability to even notice big changes and differences, let alone adapting to it? So I feel that flexible environments, yes, but at the same time, consistent environments are so very, very important. So I was just thinking that suppose you have to have a schedule. Now, my schedule is to do 10 things, but the routine is when am I going to do those 10 things? All right. So I'm going to do this at this time, this at this time, this at this time is important. Now, what all should the child do in the day? I mean, that's another big thing, right? We've talked about routine, we've talked about patterns, but what all should a little child do in a day? A 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, the early years. Now, each age group has a certain number of things that age group can do, right? Like if a child has to brush her teeth at 8 or at 8 years old, and a child at 3 years old has to brush her teeth, a simple thing like that is going to have two different patterns of work. The 3-year-old is to be assisted, the 8-year-old will brush on their own. But when the 8-year-old is still not brushing on their own, what are you going to call, what are you going to put this under? Which developmental issue is going to be put under? That an 8-year-old is not brushing his teeth or her teeth on her own or his own. So also understanding that developmentally different age groups will need to have different patterns of independence, right? So in your routine, you will also have to put down which activities can the child do independently, which child is activities which need assistance, which are the activities which will just need guidance. So independence, assistance, guidance. Sometimes by just guiding the children, they will do it. So everything that you plan for the children, put it under these categories that, oh, this the child can do on their own. So perhaps when you are very busy time, that can be fitted into that schedule. While I'm just giving instructions to children, this is going to work, put it under that schedule when you're a little less busy. And when you have more time, put the independent activities there. And that's how you plan and set your schedules together. So just look at list of things to be done. Look at the developmentally appropriate activities that the child can do independently with assistance, with guidance. Make a list of your schedules, which are very, very important. You see, this whole time is different, right? So we will have to create our own patterns as well. So after all these basics are done, create a small little, maybe a small wall of type, of a clock or something, and say that let's put up a to-do list. Do it with your children one day. You can take printouts from, the images, and or you can do cutout from old magazines of little things that the children can do, or old books, and tell them that these are the 10 things we have to do every day, and then these are the 5 we'll do 3 times in a week. These are the 2 we'll do once in a week, and set up a schedule like that. It works. It sounds like, oh my God, so much of work, but once it's done, imagine the peace for the next couple of months. So do it with enthusiasm. Spread out a nice sheet of paper. Do it together, and let that become your fun weekend, or maybe the week beginning, or however you all want to see this. So model discipline. The other day I saw a couple of young mothers, and they said that we do this, but it doesn't affect our children. So I just smiled and told them, I said that I think we should talk about this, because children are not going to do what you're going to ask them to do. They're going to watch you and do what you do. So if you keep a pattern, you keep a schedule, automatically children respond. I've seen homes, the simplest of homes, not homes with many things, but the patterns they follow are so beautiful. And the children are so well adjusted in the world. The adjustment of these children in the next 6, 7, 8 months, keeping all the situations together, keeping all in mind. I think if we help them to create a self-disciplined routine pattern, we are going to find children with little better adaptation when they go back into a process, again a routine, right? So I think all of that put together, all of that, where we are going to just think of a lot of things. Now, how can you do it? How can you convince them that? So one thing which I thought that could work was a very regular circle time. So in school, what we do, I'm just talking in terms of school, and even as a parent, of course, I have a grown-up daughter now. So I used to sit down as a circle time when I'm calm, when I'm ready to be patient, when I'm ready to give reminders. So you could have a little song, you could have a little movement saying that, oh, we need to sit down and talk. And the sitting down and talk doesn't have to be was I told you so. So patience, consistency, and a good amount of heart-to-heart chats with children works wonders. All children, whether they are, I also in schools, it's very interesting as a person who's been working in schools for so long, we look at children and we can actually make out what kind of home routines they have. We don't need to ask them. We don't ask them questions. We don't interfere into the home routines. But I can look at a child and say, oh my God, this is a great routine the mother must be following. Because the child's responses to what the child does in class are very different. Then there'll be children who will just not be able to stay up. There will be angry children. There will be children who will just not listen in spite of you requesting them, whatever, because they just are not used to a pattern of working. So it's very, very important. It's like so also small things in a routine of putting your things away, washing your hands. I think somebody would put up this really nice post that children these days just go and sanitize and wash their hands. It's become ingrained. It's like they have internalized it. So routines have to be internalized. I think that is the magic of creating a pattern and a routine. So a clock, pictures, circle time, lot of possibilities, like what all the child can do, and it works beautiful. I also would suggest a big storehouse of stories. खूब सारी कहानियां. Look at little characters and make little stories for the children. So, whenever possible, give them one little story and tell them what the character does. It works very, very interestingly. So, in fact, it was in the last session, it was so interesting because we had Dr. Jawahar, who's a very, very eminent educationist, and he said that he has a think curriculum, and in that curriculum he has characters he's created, so that even if the children change the school and the curriculum is the same, those characters go with the children. So perhaps we could create a small character for time. We could create a character who asks them to do their little things. It could be out of their storybooks, out of their favorite, cartoon or however, but and use it consistently. So, sometimes people ask me, don't children get bored? Surprisingly, children don't get bored of patterns. They like routines. Like, for example, on the first birthday party, first year birthday party, the most unhappy person is the child because there is no pattern and rhythm that day at all, right? So if you can do all of this, it's important. We also must take a few things that every development follows a predictable pattern. The variations are different. This is something which I have said a large number of times, that anything that you set for a child follows a certain rhythm. There will be response differences in children, but basic patterns will be the same. There are big differences in the rate of what one child and the other child will respond. If there are two children in the house and you're setting the same routine for the child, two children will give you different responses. They will not be the same. There will be a certain amount of patience required. Any routine will take at least 3 weeks to set. It takes that kind of time with children to set a pattern. It takes about a good 3 weeks to set a rhythm and routine in children. And between that 3 weeks is the time when you have to be consistent and patient and firm. Don't just say it's okay, we'll do it later. No, try and make it possible at that particular time. What is also very important is give them concrete things to do. Now it's 5 o'clock and your shoes are there, your socks is there, and you need to be going down and playing. Whereas if you're sitting down and you're not giving them a concrete thing to do, concrete process to do, the child will not respond. You can't say it's time to draw, go draw something. Place the things over there and say, can we, you remember we had decided that we are going to be doing a little bit of drawing today. Why don't you, sit down and let's sit and work together. The child could be sitting next to you. I have been a working mom for many, many years, many years. And I used to just remember, because there was a rhythm and pattern I used to follow. Even if I was very busy, I knew this is time for the child to do this. So I would just pick up that thing, place it next to my child and say that come be. And the child responded because she knew that I don't disturb her rhythms and patterns when I'm very busy. So we keep doing our own things and suddenly you wake up and say, oh, come on now, we missed this, we did that, we missed this. It doesn't work with children, right? So keep the stuff ready, keep your processes ready, understand that it will take about 2 to 3 weeks to set a rhythm, put it up on the wall so that you see it, the children see it, the parents see it, the help sees it, everybody sees it. Continuously keep reminding them through the day, smilingly, it's now time to do this, time to do this, time to do this, and gradually ask them, now do you remember what the time is? What do you think you have to do now? So maybe from listen to mama to tell mama or tell daddy could be also a very nice way to set a pattern. When children do that, they feel very smart. They look at you and say, oh my God, I can do this on my own. I reminded mama. Or you tell them that, when the clock comes here, you have to remind me. So small things like that, right? Positive feedback. Whatever they have not done, they have not done. But make a list of all the things they did. See, they're going to do so many things through the day. I'm sure the responses to positive things will happen, right? So definitely do that. That positive responses and then small correctives. saying that tomorrow we'll try and do these two things a little better. I think these things, see, there is no one thought, there is no one pattern that's going to say this is going to work, right? But what is going to work for us is getting our thoughts very well in place and putting it all there. Please look at the social emotional development of the child. Please look at the language development, creative instincts. If your children are interested in activities like coding, sequencing, please put them into that. Don't force it. Outdoor play is very important. The development of critical thinking is important. uh, Eye to eye contact is important. Storytelling, rhymes, a little bit of music in the day, because these things are important for children. Just maybe a little rhythm in the day, maybe a little something which you can sing to with your children. But remember that everything can't be done every day. You will have to give it a little bit of space, you'll have to give it a little bit of gaps, but as much as possible. So I had made a big list of things which I thought, that these domains must be taken care of, because they say that the children, and keep the activities short, keep everything short, don't have very long patterns of working for children. They don't respond to it at all. So keep them short, keep them consistent, keep them going. And I do hope that, and I think also what is really important is to have maybe pockets on a wall. I think that's another thing that works great for a lot of parents, is that you can actually keep changing that pocket, saying that today these are the 10 things we are going to do. So today we are going to do these 10 things. Next day you can just take it out and add another list of 10 things or 5 things. So the topmost priority things of the day could be put into little pockets. It seems that it's difficult to do, but once you have it all ready, then it's a rhythm. Then it is your rhythm and pattern that you have created with your children. And I think that is what is so important, right? So keep your patterns going, keep your rhythm going, get the children into a routine, get them to grow little citizens. Little citizens who tomorrow will respect time, tomorrow will respect space, will respect rules, will understand that when rules are laid, they are to be respected, who will be self-disciplined, who don't need somebody charging after them to discipline them, but somebody who can look within and say, I will not cross my line of internal discipline. I think as a nation, if we give this base to our little children, it's so important. I think what I see around me, nothing is more important than self-discipline, because that leads to so many things getting better for my country, right? For our country. When I say little citizens, it is these children who are going to give, the country a more beautiful, a more consistent, hopefully more peaceful, more forgiving. All this only if I can have a rhythm which is internalized. You don't have to have money for it. You don't have to be, you can just do it in such a simple manner. And next week, I'm going to compile 40 weeks of learning. It's been a huge learning for me personally. I would also like you all to leave a comment in the box and let us know if you feel that we need to change the Sunday to maybe a weekday, or what is the kind of change in the pattern you would look for. Do you want us to go on, first of all? Do you want this to continue? Do you want us to change it? Do you want, your choices? So I'm sure the Square Panda team would be so happy if they can receive this feedback from all of you. And, because I think sometimes what happens is we've covered a lot of topics. We've covered a lot of concepts. We've done the best we could. And also you can ask the Square Panda team if you want a new host. Are you tired of seeing me for 40 weeks? That could also be a choice of change. We are good with it. I know some of you never miss out, yes, and it's been very precious for me. I think I'm so grateful for this whole journey, because it's been such a beautiful journey. I'm also thinking that, is a weekday a better idea? Is it a weekday a better idea? Maybe just let's think about it. And if you can just put it up even on our Facebook, it would be really nice, right? Yes, Lata, I thank you so much for all the love, all the care, all the and I'm sure Sejal is watching. She's going to put things together. Like I said, today was not very formal. I just put in what I thought as an adult to do, with children. So as a teacher, as a mom, and as just somebody who intensely loves this country. So yes, let's internalize discipline. Let's make our country a better place with these little citizens. Thank you so very much. Thank you and good evening.
Square, square, panda.